God, she shared her rising sign.
Oh my gosh, honestly, God bless. And granted, we did have it at noon because, the noon chart always like somehow has its own little magic.
Yes.
But it just makes it so much better now to know, especially because she is a Cancer moon also that she confirmed. So it's like
Mhm.
there can be only so many degrees within the Virgo rising that that Cancer moon will like apply to, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like Virgo rising. So Tish asked her like if she was a Taurus. And so it's really
Mm,
cool that her chart ruler is Mercury in Taurus. Like so the
yes.
planet that is most her. Being
Mm-hmm.
that the moon is talking to both Mercury, sextiling Mercury. It's like a funny thing because they're like about to switch signs, but Moon and Venus are square, Moon and Saturn are square. Her chart is
Yeah.
so interesting.
Her chart is powerful. It's admittedly not an easy chart. Here's the thing, even if you have an easy chart, like things are still difficult, but like when you see Mars on the Sun, Venus on Saturn, Moon squaring Saturn, right? Like you've got the moon, which is it doesn't like to be uncomfortable, especially even though it is super empowered, it rules Cancer, it is getting some harsh,
Aspects. That
yeah.
Moon square Saturn, even if it is a Cancer moon, is not easy. Like that's why, this month, August 2025, while we had the Gorgina Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer, we had Saturn and Aries like squaring off. So it's like
Party pooper.
yeah, right? It doesn't take away all the goodness that like Moon and Cancer brings. And she talked about how her mom had her in high school since she
Yeah.
was really young, and her mom worked really, really hard to provide. And she had three younger siblings. This chart is screaming eldest daughter. And it also, I think, just like her regality, her restraint, her like she said, I think in the interview with Kiki Palmer, or I don't know if it was that interview or another one, she was like, everyone called me a mean girl because I finally stood up for myself once. What about all the times that I was graceful, that I was poised, and all of those things that are very true. Her posture, Alandria and Leah's posture.
Posture. Oh my gosh. You're
Okay, queen.
you're gonna love Love Island UK because Yaz, one of the girlies that you're definitely gonna love, her posture, like something is up with the posture this year between Olandria, like on both sides of the ocean, Jupiter, Saturn. Does that give you better posture? Like, is that what's happening here? Like,
I wonder, maybe I'm like doing back exercises. I'm like squeezing my shoulder blades,
right?
inspired by them.
Like when I meditate, I want to it up all the way.
Yes. Oh
That's
my God.
amazing.
Maybe it is the Jupiter
Saturn.
so funny.
Because like Jupiter and Cancer, like I just want to like curl up in a ball and wallow, right? But Saturn's like, no, we're gonna light this fire,
Yeah,
sit
straight.
up. Yeah, I kind of feel that vibe. I mean, her chart is so activated right now, of course, and it makes sense because she is popping off. Like her fandom, the Nico Landra fandom is strong. It is as she said, she has just as many haters as fans, and it does make sense with the Cancer moon in the 11th, because now with Jupiter going through, as we just alluded to, Jupiter square Saturn, in theory, it would have been more pleasant, but it's not to say she's still not successful, but it just kind of is coming at an expense of having to reveal some very deep private things or like real emotions that maybe she might not be comfortable with. So I think it's actually in the long about way, in the long run, it will actually be a better thing for her overall because she is learning how to use her voice and almost be this beautiful, like Cancer Moon 29 in the 11th. Like she is an inspiration. She is mother. She is literally someone that
Yes.
can guide people through navigating stuff like that. And her Mercury in Taurus, it's straight to the point. People get it. Like she is a direct communicator, but she might have had trouble finding that until getting pushed. And that's, I think, what the Mars on the Sun does, right? You can really only find your voice when you get challenged, which I
Yeah.
don't condone how the challenge comes out. Okay. I just translate the symbols, but I can
Right.
see that being part of the script here.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I have a note.
Mm.
Okay, two notes.
Two notes.
What was I gonna say? Love her angular Jupiter. Okay, that's like not even the note that I was going to say, but her sun is conjunct a fixed star. It is
Mm.
the bull's eye. It is Aldebaran. It is
Oh,
the royal
yes.
star. So while she is obviously a Gemini, but because of the precision of the equinox over time with the tropical zodiac follows the seasons, and what the spring equinox is today was not necessarily the spring equinox 1,000 years ago. So things shift over time, and
Hmm.
so the Taurus constellation. So a lot of those stars are now in the Gemini zodiac sign. So, for
Hmm.
example, we have the fixed star Regulus is the heart of the lion. Now it's at 0 degrees of Virgo because
Hmm.
the fixed stars are fixed, but they change like every very, 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 very slowly. So having her sun on fixed star Aldebaran, like that is a royal star,
Hmm.
and the all of the royal stars, there's Fomalhaut, there is Regulus, there is Antares,
Hmm.
and last but not least there is Aldebaran, the bull's eye. So it brings a more Taurus flavor to her Gemini. She's
Hmm.
definitely a Gemini. She's incredibly like communicative. She's so freaking funny, and
Hmm.
like her like
Hmm.
one liners and her delivery and her meme faces that she makes,
Oh,
or
that
her faces that
apology. That
like
apology and the look, incredible.
she was like, I you're my dog. No, you're no, no, no.
I don't understand it. Ace said the same thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting, but I'm like, who are you talking to? Because I don't want my guy friends calling me dog like that. Like,
Especially
what?
the one that like basically said I'm not attracted to you while dating me
Literally.
for like multiple weeks is crazy. The
Mm-mm.
Aldebaran, like all of the royal stars have like a downfall, like a warning of like, okay, you're going to be successful, you're going to be elevated, you're going to have eminence in your life. But caveat, be mindful of this thing. And the thing for Aldebaran is lacking integrity. Um,
Mm.
and I think that Olandria has so much integrity. The way she
Mm-hmm.
moves, the way she's very direct, because Shelley and Olandria both stood up for themselves together. It's like the directness of Olandria let things land, in a
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
powerful way. And then the other thought you were talking about, like the privacy and stuff. I watched an interview she did. I think it was like New York Times or something. It
A
was like
modern love?
yes, yes, with
Yes.
Nick. And she was
Yes.
talking about how she had only been in like one like long-term relationship in college, and she had let a lot of things slide. So it's like she said that she overhealed, or overcorrected after the fact, and was really guarded for 5 years. Like if someone did something she didn't like, didn't give him a chance. And so coming onto the show was like her being like, let me try things differently, let me be more open-hearted. And that's why she said that she gave Taylor as much time as she did. And now at the
Mm-hmm.
end they put like an update, post reunion update, with an interview with Nick and Alandria at the end, and they were talking about how, because of the level of hate that they both received, especially Alandria, that they're going to be now more private about their relationship moving forward. So like the eighth housiness, and the privacy piece that you were speaking of, it's like
Mm-hmm.
this the moon in the 11th is like, she at first really wanted to be open with her fans, her supporters, the 11th house, right? Like social media, the people who watch her and love her. But
Mm-hmm.
square Saturn, because of the freaking haters, including people in the villa, it seems like, whether they say they hate her or not, she is now practicing that Saturnian restraint.
Right. Yeah, totally. I love that point you brought up. And I do agree, like, I think in order for this relationship to work, they do have to bring it private, especially when you do have eighth house Venus Saturn. Come on. Like it it would be difficult. It's not saying don't be on the public, but really like the split has to be very, very different than what it's been happening this summer. Worth noting, of course, that Mars on her sun ruling the eighth house, ruling her Venus and Saturn in Aries, also the Chiron and Scorpio in the third. So when you're thinking about like online hate, right? Third house, social media hate also,
Mhm.
because it is an air house. You get that with Jupiter in the seventh, right? Like you can kind of see the shadow sides of those energies because the third, seventh, and 11th, they to me work two ways, right? Because it is air. And so it's not only a reflection of how you're approaching something. And so with Olandria, the Chiron in Scorpio, maybe the wound around communicating in intimate relationships versus everywhere else, that's more prominent. But you're also thinking, oh, okay, so you've got racism and nationalism with Cancer Moon, right? The shadow side of Cancer in that 11th. You're thinking Jupiter and Pisces, this sort of like victim narrative and projection that other people are throwing at you, right? Like there's a lot and it is a lot to bear. And so on some level, right? Like I am glad she has Shelly. Like I'm glad they have each other. I'm glad there is a support system.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Nick at the very least seems down to support and is also, as much as he can, like he understands it as much as he can, right? He's still a white man moving in this world, so he's never going to get the same level of hate. He's going to get all the adoration, but she's really going to get the brunt of everything.
Don't you just hate systemic racism and
You know,
discrimination and sexism and just the layers?
as much as I might have my criticism or my suspicions about Nick, only because I actually really like care about Olandria, LOL, her moon on my sun. Um, I just really hope, really, really hope that he's treating her well, but overall, still very important to show an interracial couple who can defy cultural norms. Like that's just so deeply important, especially in a time when the
Yeah.
country is so divided.
I so agree. And it seems like, I don't know Nick personally, obviously, but it seems like he did grow up with Black friends. He had Black
Hmm.
friends in the villa. So it seems like, obviously, a white man does not walk in the world as a Black woman does. I wish we could have seen him stand up for her at the reunion. I wish, and he did
Hmm.
post something on Snapchat. Like I think I saw a screenshot floating where
Hmm.
he was talking about how witnessing what Alandria is receiving is impacting him. And like on
Hmm.
a positive note, I love her Jupiter in the day chart, dignified in the
AF.
seventh. Okay, very
Yeah.
see. And I think like that speaks to like we got to see this love story, right? It's like, okay, even if
Hmm.
it wasn't, maybe Taylor was her Venus Saturn. However, this Gorgina Jupiter is like she still got her love story. She still got her we got to see her truly be loved. And I think that was
Yeah.
like, wow, wow, not his Jupiter Saturn right on her Mercury. That's
I
offensive.
I just needed to see what Taylor's chart looks like on top of Olandria because that apology was fucking bullshit. And I get, you know what? I so get why she thought there was a connection with them. I really do. I'm just more disappointed in Taylor. Because
No,
again,
Taylor's weird.
this is another sign around how good synastry or whatever compelling synastry doesn't actually translate to like good synastry in real life.
Yeah. Oh my God. No. Like, see, the Taylor thought like we didn't like that he wasn't into Alandria. No, that's not the problem. Sometimes you just don't click with someone.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was you led her on. The problem was that you
Mm-hmm.
didn't communicate how you felt. The problem was even after
Mm-hmm.
Clark came into the picture, you kept dragging that shit instead of being like, no, I'm actually, I want to pursue this with Clark, not you. But he only did that when he, at the Stay on Business Challenge, when he was like, I choose Clark. And like this asshole of a way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, Taylor, that's why we're beefing with you, not because you don't like a beautiful woman. Like sometimes it doesn't matter how gorgeous or like objectively awesome someone is. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a romantic spark, and that's okay. But like
Yeah.
to make her out to be the problem during the stand on business thing was crazy.
I will say this synastry does give me more siblings, like older brother synastry that has not grown up. You know what I mean? Like you have an older brother, but that older brother is still a piece of shit. So like he
It
never learned to
reminds
do
me of the
anything.
scene where he was like, maybe no one likes you. Ha ha. What a crazy thing to say, sir.
His
But yeah,
Mars
that's
and
like a
Gemini out of control. Okay. Out of control. What?
what are you talking about, bro?
I mean, but look at this too. Like her moon on his north node, like she was mom to him. She really,
Mom,
that's
Mamacita.
Mamacita. That empathy, that kindness, that like willingness to give you chances, that is like some type of mom love shit. You know what I mean? Because only a mom will put up with bullshit like that. And she has that aspect with him, moon north node, which can be cute, but in this case, it was like overtly mothering. And she then could not see the fuckery from this old little boy.
She gave him
He
more
deserved.
than he deserved. And I think part of that, like again, we don't know fully, I guess, maybe how he treated her, but like what we can go off is the edit. And
Hmm.
it's like, bro, this man does not deserve your nurturing, kind heart.
No. Nick also has the Saturn Mercury, right, with her as well. So, it's the same year.
Mhm.
So it's like they're the same class, right? So, but for whatever reason, the Jupiter here just like compounds it, like compounds the Taurian, like, we'll take it very slow. It's
Right.
okay.
I think
We're,
Venus's Nick being in Aries
mm,
changes the vibe,
mm-hmm.
where it adds some the Venus on Venus rather than
Yeah.
Taylor dragging his feet.
Do you see where that Venus and Venus in Aries situation between I was going to say Frico Nico, does that embody what Ace was saying to some degree? I'm playing devil's
Ooh,
advocate about
okay.
Nick only being attracted to her physically. Because also at the end of the day, right? Like we still haven't figured out what Nick's birth, like whether he's a Pisces or Aquarius, I think. Like,
Or Aries,
and
I think.
or yes, yes, yes. And it was like, okay, well, if I think about it, Venus and Aries, Venus and Aries.
Before we started recording, I was kind of talking about my relationship and how I was
Hmm.
born right after Venus retrograde in Gemini and Venus in Gemini. The years that it goes Cazimi, the years it goes retrograde have been significant relationally for me.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if they were born the years that Venus went retrograde in Aries, but because they have natal Venus in Aries, the Venus retrograde in Aries cycle is
Hmm.
significant for them. So I think it's interesting that, they met this year and it's like fate kept pushing them together, right? They both got booted during Casa
Yeah.
Amor. They got brought back together. Okay, then Sierra got booted. Okay, they got back together. So think that piece is interesting.
Hmm.
I I think Nick is genuine. I mean, I don't know this
Hmm.
man, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think that it seems like he definitely valued her as a friend. And I think
Mm.
if there's an attraction and there's a friendship, I think that's a recipe for a good relationship, generally speaking. So I don't know if that's, we have Ace's word that that's what he said behind the
Hmm.
scenes. Who knows?
Who
But I
knows?
do think that even if at the beginning, because Nick was kissing Olandria during the blindfold challenge, during pretty much every single challenge that existed on the
Hmm.
show, that there was obviously that physical chemistry and attraction that, I mean, all I can do is hope that it's genuine
Hmm.
because I want to see Alandria win and be loved. And whether it's Nick or another man,
Hmm.
she
Yeah.
deserves the world. And I think that I wish we knew Nick's birthday because I feel like we would be able to see things more clearly. If you
Hmm.
want to drop your birth time, Nick,
He should have dropped his big three when Olandra dropped her big three. Like, come on, Nick. Come on,
Nick,
pick
we
up
want
the
to know the
pieces.
tea.
Pick up
I
the
know you can
pieces.
download CoStar just to pull up your stuff, even though CoStar is not my favorite. No astrologer is like, we love CoStar.
But
But
I appreciate that people it popularized it in such a
yes,
way that sure, pull up your
pull
co-star.
up your chart. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just noticed that because I'm like all about the nodes, evolutionary astrologer girly. Olandra's Venus and Saturn does square Taylor's nodes also.
Growth, a
Mm-hmm.
growth like cycle. Yeah, like I think, she came into this season with a desire to be different, to open her heart after she said, I think she was single for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, she did do that. And, it did lead her to Taylor. It led her to being with Nick. And like this is a totally random thought, but like just the moon in Cancer, especially at 29 degrees, the way she was like, I was the therapist of the villa. Like,
Yeah.
period.
Oh
Poor thing.
gosh. Unpaid labor, honestly, with
So
when you
much.
have especially 29-degree Cancer, when Olandria's whole life was, I'm sure, learning how to like parent herself and parent other people, like it's exhausting.
It is tiring. And I think like with her moon square Saturn, it reminds me of like when she left during Casa Amor, like literally everyone around her was sobbing, but she did not
Yeah.
cry until she was alone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, oh,
And she
oh.
was just like, I want to be loved so bad. So for that, I really, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it seems like based on what Nick
Mm-hmm.
said he wants to give her everything she wants. And it's like, all right, bro.
Hey. Her Mars at 3 degrees, her North Node at 5 degrees in Virgo, her potentially early degree rising. I mean, these were all in play at this last new moon in Virgo. So for me, moon families are huge. The idea that, the full moon in Pisces, or I guess, yeah, in 18 months during Pisces season, that full moon in Virgo is gonna be quite interesting, I should
Yeah.
say.
I think it's interesting that the North Node is going through her seventh right now.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I also have my North Node in the first, South Node in the seventh. And then when I had my nodal opposition in Libra and Aries, the North
Mm-hmm.
Node in the seventh is when I got engaged. So it's like, the North Node increasing this really, like after years of being single. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. So the eclipse is going through her first and her seventh. And I think like, her nodal opposition, the South Node going through her first, she was like, let me shed my old ways, right? Like, let me let go of the guard that I've held up and step into a new way of being.
It's her Saturn return, your Saturn return, her Saturn and Venus in the eighth. So naturally, that means like full-fledged commitment in my mind. Like we're really doing it and we are committing in such a way that is actually kind of courageous. I'm not just blindly
Yes.
accepting, I am really taking my time and intentionality. So don't rush things. Don't rush things, Olandria, because
Yes. Yeah, it sounds like they're
2027.
not based on what they've
Mm-hmm.
shared. And like, I think the Mars conjunct sun, like Mars at its best is courage, and
Mm-hmm.
she has this in her 10th whole sign house. We don't know the exact degree of her midheaven, but it's like being courageous publicly. Like that takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of guts.
And here's the thing, when you have 10th house planets, like your life is on display, regardless if you are intentionally trying to keep it out of the spotlight. But for her, of course, with Mars again ruling her Venus in the eighth, like her relationships will always be in the spotlight now that she has established herself as a social figure, especially Uranus going through that 10th house over the next 7 years, right? Uranus dipping back into Taurus. So it does make sense that her and Nick will move more private as Uranus also is going to move back into Taurus. But then maybe
Yeah.
when they reestablish the footing foundation, they come back out, right? Because Nick does not strike me as someone that also wants to keep his relationship totally private the whole time because he loves social media like that, you know?
He's on live a lot. I don't know what he's talking about all the time, but I know he's hanging out on the interwebs.
He's
Um,
out there. He's
he's
like
out there.
he was in New York like randomly by himself. Like people during the reunion filming, people on TikTok were like, Nick's just eating salad at Bryant Park by himself. Like he was just a man about town, even
Reading.
without
I
the
wonder
show.
what his 10th and 11th houses look like.
Oh my
I
God.
see what you pointed out about the eighth house ruler being Mars in the 10th is, and like, even the third house ruler being
Mm-hmm.
in the 10th. It's like Nick is helping her have her dreams come true of becoming a model. So,
Mm.
best wishes to their relationship. I hope that, I mean, there was one day, the episode after Casa Amor when they got together, me and my friend went out to eat and we were eating sushi and Venus was in Taurus. It was a
Oh,
Friday. And I was like, is
beautiful.
that her husband? Like I was just eating sushi, living my best life,
Mm-hmm.
just like gushing over them. Hope
Mm-hmm.
that is the case. And even if not, whether they are or not, that man is helping her get established as a model, which I mean, she's got the looks for it, absolutely.
Stunning
The face
cheekbones.
card is crazy, the body is so T.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like even in that way of like this man is helping her career.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, yeah. Especially, I just pulled the solar arcs just to see. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, her North Node now is in Libra. When you think about the modeling career in her second house, Saturn on that South Node solar arc. Yes, everything that
I
you
am not
just said.
familiar entirely with solar arcs yet, but
Oh,
is it
yes.
direct? Is it primary directions? Is that the same?
Yeah, if you don't have a birth time, you should look at solar arcs for your birth chart because everything is just anchored to the sun 1 degree a year.
Mm.
So everything the chart just moves a degree and it's still to me biographically or autobiographically when a transit hits the solar arc, I can make a prediction something will actively happen.
Is this similar to progression, secondary
It's
progression?
similar. Yes, it's very similar, but
This is like the
progressions.
primary
Yes,
progression.
exactly. So like progressions, it is based of the planet motions as well, right? Because it's following the days after your birth, but
Yeah,
solar arc is really just the
one
sun
degree.
is the anchor, correct? And so you really just move
Nice.
the chart over. It is my favorite quick and dirty technique, especially if someone does not have a birth time that you can't get precise with transits and things like that because there is activation that naturally does arise.
Love
If
that.
stuff is hitting. And I think, I mean, that's really interesting, right? Because she's got the Venus and Saturn solar arc. Like everything also, it makes a lot of sense in terms of the chart evolving. Lilith on the solar arc, Lilith on the Chiron. That makes sense that there's this
Mhm.
activation now too, right? Like in terms of the disproportionate amount of hate that she's receiving with even like the George Floyd stuff, like it. Yeah, it kind of is wild, but what I was also just thinking about, because we obviously have a Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer, one more go at it, God bless, next year in June, but closer to the end degree, that will be on her Cancer moon. So that will be a really beautiful
Beautiful.
moment to keep an eye out. Ah!
I love that. I love that. I was doing a lectional with like a client and a friend, and we were like, why is Mars in Taurus during that time? Why is Sagittarius? I was like, we're just gonna enjoy the square for what it is. I mean, the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter.
I
Oh
know
my
it's Venus and Jupiter this year is really, it's really testing. It's really testing the idea of, benefics in motion, right? Because it really is showing that you cannot just view things singularly. You really do have to take
Mhm.
the whole sky into
Right. It's
consideration.
like, is it lucky? Yeah. And
Yes, and my thing
yes,
is
and
blessings are blessings in disguise, okay?
I
So
on a very random note, okay, so like we don't so apparently Taylor Swift got engaged 2 weeks ago.
August 10th on the full moon in Aquarius. On her nodes, correct. Yes, yes. Her
Sorry.
dad, Ed Kelsey dropped the T.
No, I saw that he said it was like 2 weeks, but I didn't get the date.
Oh, August
Oh my
10th.
God, the day before the because I was like, okay, if it's not on this Virgo moon that was very
Mm-hmm.
benefically enclosed, it was a beautiful new moon we just had, and right, so
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense that we had the announcement, after the new moon
Yes.
on Fixed Star Regulus, of like
Mm-hmm.
of like celebrity, right? That's the little celebrity star.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's a Cancer moon and she has Jupiter in Cancer getting engaged on basically the day before the Venus Jupiter conjunction went
Mm-hmm.
exact. The full moon in Aquarius. She also has Venus in Aquarius. OMG. Wait, just before we come back to Love Island, what team of rising sign are you?
I'm Pisces rising now. I used to be more Scorpio, and then I watched the New Heights podcast episode, and I did a whole episode about this because Kepler College did a whole rectification around it, which I
Yes.
thought the astro mapping for that was what cinched it for me because yeah, it does kind of make sense. Like the Mars, but more importantly, if she were a Scorpio rising or Cap rising that would put Mars in Scorpio in the first, or that Cap Stellium in the first. And that just seemed too much. Like it just did not seem like that was the vibe that she would communicate, even though I can see the Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, like also as chart
Hmm.
rulers, giving that Pisces rising energy. But I'm sorry, just watch the Bejeweled music video. You cannot tell me she is not a Pisces rising watching that goddamn music video. I'm so
Oh my gosh. Oh my
like,
gosh. I've heard about the Pisces rising theory on Twitter, like I think circa 2020. Someone did like
mm-hmm,
zodiacal releasing or something.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, like I hadn't heard of that theory yet. And so
Mm-hmm.
like I've always like clocked it in the background. And then like
Yeah.
if she is a Pisces rising, this what was like
The Venus Jupiter conjunction in her fifth.
her fifth, a very romantic, and like a lot of people were like, fifth house is really the romance house. Well, seventh is really the marriage, the commitment, the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. Fifth house is like the lover aesthetic that he created for the
Oh my God.
proposal.
Oh my God.
And then that would make her ascendant lord Jupiter. If she is either Capricorn or Scorpio rising, then like she has a malefic in the first as her chart ruler. Um,
Exactly.
and so it's like, I mean, I can kind of see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is a very fierce human being, very
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. And I think the way she's kind of, while she does get critique and whatnot, she's like has that America's sweetheart, Miss Americana thing
Mm-hmm.
going on.
Totally. I mean, just by thinking about the level of success that she has been able to amass in her life, sure, Capricorn stellium makes a lot of sense. But if your chart ruler, if it is between Jupiter, Saturn, or Mars, I'm going with Jupiter, especially down to the new heights, down to the new heights of it all. And freaking, like, I mean, if she's a Pisces rising, yeah, I mean, the new moon in Virgo, seventh house, like, we get the formal
Yeah.
announcement. Like,
Yeah, that new moon was like, okay, seventh house, fifth
mm,
house, okay, both the
mm-hmm,
romantic house. And plus that would put her cap stellium in the 11th. So
mm-hmm,
um Pisces, that means Sagittarius, her sun would be in the 10th, right?
mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
Capricorn, stellium in the 11th.
11th,
And
yes.
so that does still speak to, because if she was a Cap rising, then her Scorpio would be in the 11th. So that kind of, while her fans are absolutely devoted, her haters are equally as devoted.
Yeah, that is very true. It's I guess if you know if she is a Scorpio rising, that would that put her Mars as like an out of sect
It
malefic?
would actually, either way, if it's Capricorn or Scorpio, she would be ruled by her insect
Oh,
malefics.
inside. There we go. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's why I was like, I could see that, right?
yeah.
It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
not an out of sect malefic. It's
Mm-hmm.
because Scorpio, then her sun would be in the second, right below the horizon. If she's a cat,
Yeah,
sun would be in the
yeah.
12th, right above the horizon. Imagine it's like a Beyonce moment where it's like a totally random rising sign that we just were not seeing coming.
It's, but you know what's funny with the Beyonce? Because everyone was either Scorpio or Libra rising, right? And it's the idea that, okay, well, Aries and Libra, that does make sense. It's the same axis. So we're getting the seventh house imprint. So we
Yes,
got what she wanted to give. But when you think then about, oh, she could have been Mars ruled with the Scorpio rising. So
exactly. It's
it
like her
works
Scorpio
either way.
moon is like so important to her, Beyonce. And then
Yeah.
with her Aries rising, like because I was always team Scorpio rising over the Libra for
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce. Like
Mm-hmm.
Mars and I was like, she's Mars and Leo. Like, of course she is Venus and Libra as well, like a million thousand
Mm-hmm.
percent. But the performance and the stamina, the longevity of like
Yeah.
fixed fire, and it's conjunct her North Node as well. But the hard time I had was like, huh, like Libra stellium in the 12th. Like, I mean,
Mm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
like fame can be a prison, like very few people can relate in that 12th house way.
Mm-hmm.
But then that Aries rising, it has the Mars as the chart ruler, and it puts her Libra placements in a very powerful position.
Very chic. I'm
Pop
actually
culture digress to
I we love it because it's all in the air right now. I mean, I'm actually reading Matriarch to do an episode with Camille, Michelle Gray for Beyonce's birthday.
exactly.
So definitely subscribe so you do not miss that drop. But the book is very compelling. The memoir is compelling. Tina Knowles and Beyonce. Tina Knowles is
Yes.
a Leo rising. You see the Mars, like there's just some beautiful family synastry there.
Oh my God, I can't wait for this episode.
Yes, but okay, steering it back to Love Island, although I think to be fair, we covered like a lot of terrain. The only real
Yeah.
character left that I had thought about discussing, but I could not also discuss, I leave that to you to decide, was just Austin. Just no
Let's
one,
look at his
no
chart just
one
briefly
si-
because I have not looked at his chart at all.
I only looked at it earlier just to see like what was up, like just to understand where the Aquarius was, like because the
Okay.
someone says I'm disassociating, I'm thinking, where's that Neptune aspect? Where's the Aquarius? What is happening here?
And you were absolutely on point.